YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, it's live through cable. That's it. Yeah, it's just, we're good now, so whenever you're ready.
Still have the cable channel?
Yeah, we do.
All right. Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening. This is the Town of Winchester Zoning Board of Appeals regular meeting for August 23rd, 2022, called to order at 7:05 p.m. Location at the Town of Winchester Town Hall, 338 Main Street in the P. Francis Hicks Room, and broadcast live on YouTube TV. Tonight present are myself, Paul Marino, John Pollock, Aubrey English, and Ron Dew, as well as alternate Ellie Gunn. Absent excused is Philip Allen, and absent is Thomas Sullivan. For the purpose of tonight's meeting, we will be seating alternate Ellie Gunn to give us our 5 members. So the way it works on the Zoning Board of Appeals is you need 4 affirmative votes to have your project approved, not just a simple majority. So of the 5 seated members tonight, you'd need 4 of the 5 voting in affirmative to approve your application. The way we do this is we will have an opportunity to call each application. We will verify that all the mailings went out. We'll open up the hearing. You'll have an opportunity to present your application to the board. The board is likely to have some questions along the way. Once the board's asked all of their questions, we'll open it up to the public for any comments or questions they may have. And at the end, you as the applicant will have an opportunity to have what we call the final word and address anything that might have come up from the public. When we do open it up to the public, we ask that any questions get funneled through the chair, and we'll direct the conversation with the applicants. So with that, we're going to have a adjustment to our agenda tonight. First of all, item 2, Pam, we're not going to be having an executive session tonight due to the fact that Attorney Kevin Elligan is not able to attend.
Correct. If the board felt that they need one, he can make the September meeting.
Okay. So we're going to be removing that from tonight's agenda, and also we'll be changing the order of the applications. Our first application will be ZBA 225307, which is the Carnellis, followed by ZBA 225308, which is Mr. Makowitz. And then finally, we'll be hearing from application 22-5306 for Steve Heffer and Henna Salton. So I'll take a motion to amend the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the agenda has been modified. So with that, we will ask for ZBA 22-5307 at 664 East Wakefield Boulevard, Linda Carnelli and William Carnelli. And this is for a setback variance for an addition on the north side of the property and a 34 by 28 garage on the easterly side of the property.
I'll just read the legal ad aloud. So the legal notice read, the Town of Winchester Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a remote public hearing. I'm sorry, that's not right. That wasn't it. We'll hold a public hearing on August 23rd, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the P. Francis Hicks Room located on the 2nd floor of Town Hall at 338 Main Street, Winston, to act on the following. 22-5300 variance 205. I'm reading the wrong one. I'm sorry. This is not the correct one. This is not the correct. Let me just start again, because there was a corrected legal notice, and it began with the application of 22-5306 variance 212 West Wakefield Boulevard. Applicant owner Steve Heffer and Henna Salton demolish reconstruct residence. Number 22-5307 variance 664 East Wakefield Boulevard. Applicant owner Linda Carnell and William Cornell setback variance for addition on north side of property and 34-foot by 28-foot garage on easterly side of property. 22-5308, a variance for 332 East Wakefield Boulevard, applicant George Makowitz, owner George Makowitz and Diane Makowitz. Modification of variance for a deck within 9 feet of the boundary line and closer than principal dwelling. Interested parties may appear and be heard, dated this 9th day of August 2022. Paul Marino, Chairman, Zoning Board of Appeals. It ran in the Republican American on August 10th and August 16th. In front of you, you have the Cornells. I won't read the legal notice for each public hearing, just let it be known that it ran for all of them. Furthermore, I have the certificate of mails from the Cornells serving as evidence that they provided notice to the abutting property owners.
Thank you very much. If you would both state your name and address for the record, please.
William Carnelli, 8 Fry Road, New Hartford.
Okay?
Linda Carnelli, I'm at 664 East Wakefield Boulevard, Winston.
Okay.
We're siblings. Just to make that clear.
If you would tell us about your project.
Bill was on it.
I have to give a little history of the cottage and what our intentions are. In 1961, Mom and Dad rented a cottage in First Bay. Mom fell in love with the lake. That winter, she found a lot, and Dad built her a cottage that was 60 years ago. After Dad retired, they wintered in Florida and summered at the lake. 10 years later, I remodeled the bathroom and laundry room and made it more handicap accessible for them, but ended up losing one of the existing bedrooms. 5 years ago, my mother and my sister made their cottage the permanent residence. Last February, Mom passed away in her cottage, in her bedroom, with us by her side. She was 94. My sister and I inherited the cottage. We like to keep it in the family. We had an architect evaluate the property. We came up with a plan to meet our needs and will improve the property and will lower the impervious area from 41.1 to 37.7%. These are photos of the cottage and the driveway and the walkways. The driveway, walkway, court, and concrete brick walkways are deteriorating. And you can see how they are deteriorating. Our plan will address these issues with a new garage and driveway, and a formal entryway and foyer, and an extended living space. We would like to build a two-car garage with storage. The garage will be connected to the cottage with an enclosed breezeway. A set of stairs will transition from the garage floor level to the cottage floor level. This is the garage. This is the side view. This is the breezeway. This is the garage floor level. And I think we're actually 8-inch, the house floor level is about 8 inches higher than the bottom of that door. The garage located to the back of the house. We'll have a new driveway that will come in with a visiting parking, a turnaround, and this driveway will be a lot smaller than what we have now. So we will be able to remove the existing driveway here, and we have a volleyball court with stone that we will take out and replace with grass and maybe a garden.
Excuse me, will the driveway be asphalt? Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's what we're planning.
Okay.
We would like a new front entryway with closets and a stair connecting the upper and lower living space. This is the front entryway with the front door. This is the, part of the building, and it shows down here the stoop, the entryway here, and it'd be a stair going down to a closet, and a stair going up to where the existing, door is now. This is the existing stoop now, just a wood base stoop, and it has concrete and pavers around it. And this is the driveway, it comes all the way to this point. This would all be removed and put in a path, a walkway to the, from the driveway to this area here, to where the foyer will be and stoop. This stake right here shows the location of the start, or where the stoop goes from here to here. The extended living space will be connected to the existing walkout basement. We want to remodel the basement with a bedroom and full bath to replace a existing shower room, also remodeling the wet bar area. This is the new living space that we have, and it butts up to the house here. And this is the walkout basement, existing walkout basement. And the, when we put this on, there is a staircase from the deck right here that would be, have to be removed, which will be removed. We will put in a spiral staircase at this end of the deck. This shows the footprint of the garage, the footprint of the stoop, the footprint of the new foyer, and this is the new living space, added living space that will be connected to the walkout basement. And this over here is the spiral staircase. This proposal makes our cottage a functional year-round home for myself and my sister. We are not building any closer to the lake, and all new structures do not block our neighbor's view. Any questions?
Just on your drawing, you didn't really put the dimensions in for like the size of the house. I know, like
What
page
page?
A1,
A1, the existing.
existing house, and
Oh geez.
then the height, you didn't put that in also.
Is it on that building?
Yeah, it is, I think. Hold on.
We do have
The existing house,
here and here too.
Yes, right.
Okay, did you find it there? Did you find
I
it
just,
there?
we're just noting that there are notes on the site plan.
it's 25 feet
Yes,
wide,
right.
and
Yes,
it's 40 for the main house, and then another 22 feet for the addition my father put on afterwards. So it'd be 46 around 61.9 inches by 25 feet. And I think there's a little jog in the front part of the cottage is narrower by 24.6.
Yeah, and the height's not to exceed, they have 20.7 noted on the
Right.
site plan,
Yes.
so I guess we're,
I'm just being like, over here, we don't have any elevation.
correct. But anything we do would also be based on
Right.
these numbers. So the reduction in pervious coverage, or impervious coverage, that's the removal primarily of this paved area up here and a smaller driveway? Is that how they got to that number?
A smaller driveway, there was a volleyball court all in here. That's all, a lot of it's going to be part of the driveway. But the driveway, actually, the guest parking is going to be here, and the driveway actually extends all the way down to here, and we're going to be eliminating all that. And, you know, there was, under where we're building, there was like 8 feet of concrete and brick. We'll be taking that out and building over it, so the footprint of the expanded space and the foyer actually is not that much more than what was there. You can see the concrete walkway and then another walkway brick. And we'd be actually building kind of over that. And that's why I think we're getting less. And I think too, there's a bunch of walkways here in the front. When I say the front of the cottage, the lake side of the cottage. And there's a walkway here, all that's going to be eliminated.
Okay. John, to your point though, if we approve this project, these numbers would have to be,
Yeah, right.
they would have to stay within these numbers, including the height, even though we don't have the dimensions on
Yes.
the actual building plan. Other questions?
Oh, I think he's pretty much covered everything that's there.
Any other questions, John?
No, nothing.
Okay. With that, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak to this application? And not seeing anybody, we come back to you, and you have the last word. Is there any other points you'd like us to know?
Well, thank you for your time, for one thing, and my brother and I would like to spend the rest of our life at the lake, but we need to make these additions in order to make it so that we're compatible to live in this space. Bill wants his man cave downstairs, and I want that extra space upstairs, and we want the garage so that as we continue the rest of our lives, we can function well into our later life. Thank you.
I do have one last question for you. Had you given any consideration to trying to get, again, the impervious coverage down further, maybe different materials for the driveway? Any consideration there?
Yes, and we also, my father, Italian, loves cement, so he's got patches of cement all over the place that we just are gonna pull up. So there's additional little pieces here and there that we're gonna be removing. But we have looked into, my brother's been a builder his whole life.
Impervious pavers,
Hmm.
we did look into it. I talked to Michael in Wetlands a little bit about it. I don't know how involved that is, but I would consider doing the turnaround. I do the snow removal there with snow. I'd like to keep the paved area as we. I would like to keep this paved, but this is fairly flat, so.
I mean, you could probably get a fairly substantial reduction in that turnaround area if you did something
Right.
something that was pervious.
I was confused because sometimes they said the stone is not, is pervious or impervious, or?
So under our statute in the town of Winchester, stone driveways are considered impervious.
Okay.
Any stone is considered impervious. And we had a meeting recently to discuss that very part of the planning and zoning rules, but the assumption is people will pave it
Right.
eventually. So that's kind of how that came to be, from what I understand historically. But you could probably gain, and when we look at variances, we look at a lot of different factors, and making things less non-conforming certainly is a consideration.
You still want to maybe address hardship.
Yeah, and specifically, we look at, are we making it less non-conforming, and also, most importantly, are we addressing a hardship that's specific to the land that's preventing you from being able to stay within the planning and zoning rules, right? So, in your case, we're looking at side yard setback issues that are less than the 35 feet required, and we're also looking at the impervious coverage. And there's two different aspects, certainly, and we'll talk about it on the board, but the garage is one thing. The addition on the, is that the north side?
Yes.
Is also part of this, so. But I just wanted to address if you had any other considerations for maybe using a different material in the turnaround, and,
I'm a little confused. The stone is impervious? Some complete stone driveway would be impervious?
a crushed stone driveway is considered impervious.
So that wouldn't help us?
No, but a pervious paver or a pervious asphalt,
You know, that's, I've seen that. I've seen it used in a parking lot, I think even down at,
the new medical
Old
center here.
Avon, maybe?
The new medical center here actually has,
Oh, really?
at the end of Route 8 has,
Yeah.
let me get the words right, pervious asphalt.
Yeah, I know of someone, the architect actually used it on a project, and we talked about that. I really did look into it, I know it's kind of expensive, but if it's something, that would actually, I guess it'd be similar to pavement, it looks similar to pavement, and as long as I could plow it, at least a consideration.
Yeah, you can, as I said, you can go to the new Hartford Healthcare Center, and you can, it's not in the middle where you drive, but the parking spaces are all the impervious.
So maybe
Asphalt.
you do the parking in the turnaround area, but not the driveway itself then?
It's an option, yeah. Have you been through wetlands yet?
No,
You're on the agenda for wetlands?
yes.
Okay.
I talked to Michael, I guess, last few days, and been talking to him, he had some questions, and I went through it. He said that we aren't really changing any of the grading there, it's pretty much gonna stay that's there. He had concerns about, because I had stone around the outside of the house on the drip line, because I wanna try to stay away from gutters.
Right.
And he said that is impervious, it surprised me.
Can you speak to the board a little bit more about, if you didn't do this, the hardships that you'd face?
We might have to sell a
Got
piece,
it, yeah.
because I can't afford it on my own, and, neither of us could afford it on our own. And if we can't make, changes so that we both can live there, then, or the garage and all that, we're gonna have to sell.
The garage, I think is critical only because, I used to go up there during the winter, and the snow blows off the lake. And this back door, one year I came up, was totally encased in snowdrift. And that's why I think it's critical. I mean, I haven't seen snow like that in the last couple of years, but the lake is pretty rough.
That it is.
I know.
Any other questions? And with that, we will close the public hearing. Thank you. And we will make a motion to grant a variance from section 11.g.b.ii of the zoning regulations for application number 22-5307 to construct a 22 8.3 by 12.51, I think that is, by 44.6 feet, by 8.5 by 22.3 feet, and a 3.5-foot addition. Approving a 17.6 north side yard setback variance and a 2-foot rear yard variance, and to approve a 23-foot southerly side yard setback variance and a 5-foot northerly side yard variance for a 30 by 28 garage with a 4-foot by 25 and a half foot area between the dwelling and the home, and for a 22.5
I'm sorry, that's dwelling and garage.
or dwelling and garage, and for a 22.6 impervious surface variance as per the drawings submitted for the property located at 664 East Wakefield Boulevard.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Any thoughts? John, any thoughts?
No, the only thought that I had is, like you said, I guess his coverage is going down, which is good, from 41 to 37. And if they could knock it down a little bit more, that would be better. Because we don't really, because 15% is the guidelines that we usually go by, and it's old because of the, I guess the asphalt and everything else that we have there that was done, in the yard. So if we remove some of that, it's gonna go down, the coverage.
Now, I know we could modify, right, and talk about impervious coverage, but we really wouldn't have any numbers to work with unless they had some kind of a plan, correct?
You know, you could only modify in the sense that you don't give an impervious surface coverage variance. You wouldn't want to change the numbers and
Right.
then.
Yeah. Okay. Any other discussion? Then we will take a vote on the motion. All in favor to approve the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No abstentions. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully you don't have to sell your place now.
I just don't know where the volleyball's going. You didn't really address that, so.
That Sid wanted to have the last game this Sunday.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, but we're all too old for it now. They do our shoes. Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
Okay.
Next, application ZBA number 22-5308 for a variance located at 332 East Wakefield Boulevard. Applicant is George Makowitz, owners George and Diane Makowitz. Proposal modification of variance. Deck within 9 feet of boundary line and closer than principal building. Do we have anybody here? We do.
George couldn't make it tonight. My name is Michael Sherman. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of Connecticut. I'm representing George.
So we did get a new site plan submitted to us that was on the table when you got here. I presume that's the most up-to-date one?
It is, that was in response to Michael's comments on the drawing that's up on the board.
So we're going by this new one then?
What's that?
We're going by this new one
Yeah.
then again?
Yes. And just so everybody on the board is clear, we approved a variance for this house to be built, I'm guessing it looks like sometime in 2019. And this is a modification to that plan.
Yeah, I can pass your, this is draft motion, so you can see what he gave.
And
There's one for everyone.
you have receipts of the mailing, Pam?
I don't, here, do you?
Actually, George gave it to me, but I didn't bring them.
So if you, I think you can still go forward if, you know, we would need them tomorrow.
Perfect. Mr. Sherman, would you tell us what we're doing?
All right, these are George's words. We want to change the original wire deviant wall to a fieldstone wall type. They've been taking them about 2 years to build the house now, since they've got their approval, and it's all because of supply shortages and all the COVID stuff. So they had a lot of time to think about this while they were out there. And I guess they decided they didn't like the idea of the rock and the wire.
And that's located where?
That is located to the north side of the house. It's highlighted here in pink.
Okay.
So that wall was 3 feet wide, straight up and down.
Is that the one that came in before this one?
No.
Yes.
Which one is the newest one that we got today?
I believe the one with
819?
one with my logo on it.
Oh, this is Laurel.
My logo's up above.
Okay, that one I have. Right. So we should be looking then at this one.
It gets
Dated for the-
confusing because I used to work for Laurel.
And it's dated 8/19/22.
Right.
Okay. So we're looking at a slightly different drawing than what you have up there. That area,
This is George's sketch. The sketch you have on the revised plan has dimensions and everything, and elevation.
actually, you know what? That's upside down compared to what we're looking at. That's why I was confused.
How's that?
It's starting to make sense now.
Well, I was just getting used to it.
So if you just point out that that wall that we're referring to, okay. Got it.
So George has been through wetlands, and they approved all of his changes. And they approved the pervious patio that he wants to put on the lake side of the house. He's asking for a variance for that pervious patio, because he wants to extend it like 3 feet past the house into the side yard. I'd just like to pass this picture around that you can look at to see what he's extending it to. See the ledge that's shown on the plan?
Yep.
Well, this is a picture of that ledge. And above it, you see the neighbor's privacy fence. So the point I'd like to make here is that he will not be encroaching on his neighbor's privacy by extending this patio by 3 feet.
So the patio is gonna go up to the ledge?
Yes.
Okay. As opposed to ending it, so there's a distance between 3 feet even, between the house and that ledge?
Yeah, I think we have it on measure here. It's
3.6.
3'6", 3'6", okay.
And then the other biggest change to the originally approved plan was they wanted to add steps in the wall because they thought it would be too hard to walk around the wall or jump over it. And we're all getting older these days.
And that's the steps that face the road on this area.
I'll point to you on this plan here. They're like
Yeah.
right in the
Yeah.
center of the wall.
So the stairs are new and the 3-foot extension of the patio is new. And the patio material is, what is it made of?
It's a pervious.
It's pervious.
Yes, it's the paver blocks with a nice little gap in between them, so, and the larger gravel filled in them, so the water will go right in.
So this change doesn't impact impervious coverage then?
No, it doesn't. And we answered, concerns with drainage. Originally, we've done the same here. The second page, you have details showing the drainage behind the wall. Details, the stairs. In my responses to Michael, I told him we were just gonna use the seawall design, give him an engineer's design. So when I went back and looked at it, I realized the seawall is like 2 or 3 feet higher than this wall, so I redid the details.
What is the height of that wall? Do you know?
It's 4 feet on the northerly end.
And the wall,
No, it's 4 feet on the southerly end, that gets the house, that's the highest point.
so the wall exists, right?
No.
Oh, but the wall was approved, the stairs are the new request?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a different type of wall.
okay.
But it was just a change in the approved plan,
Yep, understand.
so that's why.
Okay. Any other questions?
Right.
Any questions? At this time, we will open it up to the public, to anyone who would like to speak to this application. If you would, please just come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Charles Husson, and I live at 338 East Wakefield, a few houses over. I just recently found out about the idea of that wire-faced type wall, which is, I've seen before in industrial locations and various other types of locations. It's not, in my opinion, very aesthetically appealing, and I think the proposed wall would be much more so. I think from both the lake point of view, as well as from the residents' point of view, that it would probably be a much better idea. As far as the location of that smaller patio area and the expansion of that, it's within the guidelines of impervious and, or pervious, and therefore I would be very strong to say George is doing a great job with that location. He's done a lot of work on that house. It's a huge improvement to the neighborhood, and I suggest that you approve it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, again, if you would state your name and address for the record.
Yes, I'm Lynn Carter, 342 East Wakefield, and I am 2 doors down from, Jay and I are 2 doors down from George and Diane. We've been through the building process with them very closely for the last couple of years. They're doing a beautiful job. We are familiar with what they're trying to do now. I just went over with George the other day. The Gabion wall was going to be with wire and rocks. This is a more aesthetically pleasing wall that will look better from the street and from the lake. It also has like a drainage that goes down into the rain garden, so all of that, possible rain runoff will be taken care of as well from what they've done. And then the small patio area is, I think it would just be nice, with the pervious pavers. It's gonna be like a nice sitting area that they're planning. So I think that would be really a beautiful addition too, and I'm completely in favor of it as well.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public that would like to speak to this application?
My name is Richard Cusson. I live at 336. I'm George's neighbor, and we have no objections at all to his application.
Just for the record, 336 East Wakefield Boulevard, Winston, yes?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak to the application?
Just if you would, just ask for hardship to be discussed.
Okay,
With regards to, not hardship on the wall insofar as the patio, meeting the 9-foot side yard setback.
Well, we thought we were approved as a reasonable request, and this is just a modification of the reasonable request.
You don't recall what the hardship was back then, do you?
I don't think, well, he had all kinds of hardships having to do with disabilities and things, but those aren't supposed to count. He needs topography, do have the hardship of lot shape because you can't make a 75-foot side yard.
Right.
And when we went for the original, we showed the minuscule little triangle, I think it was 2 feet by 6 feet that he was allowed to build on for the zoning regs.
Right. Very well. Anything else to add?
We checked it, George's notes. I think we covered everything.
Thank you. And at this time, we will close the public hearing. And motion to grant a variance from section 11.g.d.4.a of the zoning regulations for application number 22-5308. And this is a modification of variance number 19-5218, which has been for a 30.2 front yard variance and a 25.4 south side yard variance, and a 5-foot north side yard variance of 5 feet, and a rear yard setback variance of 3.7 feet, which had been for the purpose of demolishing the existing structure and building a 62 by 27 foot 2-story residence with a walkout basement and a 9 by 14 landing, with stairs on the north side of the structure to allow for installation of a patio closer than the principal building and within 9 feet of a boundary line, and to approve the switch from a gabion wall to a fieldstone wall as per the drawings submitted for the property located at 332 East Wakefield Boulevard. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
As far as extending that patio, after seeing it, it just makes more sense to extend it over there.
I think so too. Take it to the ledge.
Yeah.
There's no change to pervious.
No, no. And the stairs and that other wall, that again just makes more sense.
John, anything?
No, I agree with you guys with the rock over there.
Okay. Then we'll put it to a vote. All in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? All set. The variance change is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
These are all the same, yeah?
Yes,
You need them all signed or just one?
just one.
All right. So, moving on to ZBA
Just
number,
if you would pick, give me that one back before you
He-
get going.
yeah, he's just signing it.
Do we sign the other one, the first one? I never
she's
signed
gonna,
the
we're
first
gonna, are we gonna sign this one for this one?
Yeah, please.
So we have,
one. Favor.
made by? Second? Oops, my pen's running out. I don't know, I think you seconded that one, didn't you?
I did.
So, yeah.
You have to pass that down.
Yeah. So as we move on to ZBA number 22-5306, this is actually an appeal of a application that we saw at the June regular meeting. And due to the...
It's not an appeal. It's not an appeal, it's a, application for a variance.
Okay. However, it's an application for the same variance we looked at, correct, Pam? It's the same,
That-
it's the same property,
It's it's 212 West Wakefield Boulevard, yeah.
Right, and typically, there's a time of 6 months, is that the normal time?
That, the commission is, hold on, I'll give you
Just need to get some things into the record so that we can.
Yeah, I have the statute.
8.6, yeah, I just want to get the language exactly right. That no such board shall be required to hear any application for the same variance or substantially the same variance for a period of 6 months after a decision by the board or by a court of an earlier such application. So, it's that you're not required, but the statutes don't preclude you from
Correct.
hearing. So it's definitely on the board.
Right, so the board we can decide whether or not to proceed with this application tonight. That's something that we as the board can decide. So, I just want to get a general idea from everybody. Do we proceed with this tonight?
Have we spoken to Mr. Noligan, the attorney?
He was unable for, an executive session to discuss a pending legal matter this evening. He's available for September 27th.
I make a motion that we postpone it until we speak to Mr. Noligan, just to make sure that we have all our ducks in order.
Okay, so we,
So you want to get a second on the motion and then you can
correct,
discuss it if.
right. So, does anybody want to second that motion?
We would be fine with that.
Postponement?
If the board wants to have.
Well, it doesn't sound like the motion is gaining any traction.
Right, so we don't have a second for the motion. So the motion, we have the ability to either to move forward with this tonight or not. I mean, essentially,
Well, okay,
the attorneys or the discussion we had regarding the ordinance is pretty much
was
what
I
Pam
absent
read.
from this meeting, this last meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
because I'm not fully aware of what happened.
You don't need to be.
Right.
Huh?
You didn't need to be there.
The only issue before us right now on this application, Aubrey, is we had it 2 months ago.
Right.
It didn't get approved.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. because
Correct.
I didn't have the information, I wasn't here for that meeting.
It was not approved. They're
So-
back within the 6-month time frame. We have the option to proceed with it tonight or not.
Okay. If they want to make sure all the legal requirements are in order, everything is done legitimately, by statute, whatnot, I'll go ahead and second John's motion.
Okay.
And
So we have a motion, we have a motion to postpone, and pending discussions with the town's attorney. My understanding is, and we'll vote on the motion in a minute, but just to discuss the motion, we won't be violating any law that we're aware of if we decide to hear this application tonight. Now, if you are interested in postponing till September, I mean, that would be your prerogative as well, if you have any particular reason to do that, as the applicants.
I think, because the attorney for the town participated tonight, I think a postponement probably makes sense, because this application, part of the board's consideration in approving it is that it would moot the appeal, because it would, give us the approval that we're looking for.
Correct.
So, while we were coming here looking for a postponement, because Attorney Delegate's not here, we can't confirm with him, we think a postponement's appropriate, so that the board has the benefit of counsel before it votes on another application.
Okay. So the wording of John's motion is postponed till our September regular meeting, and do we know what the date of that is, Pam?
September 27th, but let's be certain, so it's on the record for anyone who may be watching or may watch at the, let's just make sure we have the date of the next regular meeting. It is indeed September 27th.
So the motion that John made was to postpone to September 27th at our regular meeting, based on conferring with Attorney Nelligan. And so we have that motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Further discussion, I should say?
And you're just noting that, the applicant has no objection to it
Right.
either.
And for the record, the applicant has no objections to postponing to the regular meeting on September 27th. With all of that, all in favor of postponement, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. The motion doesn't carry.
Does.
Oh, the majority on that is fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so the motion does carry. Very well, then we will take this application up at our regular meeting in September. Thank you. Thank you. I forgot, motions are majorities. Did we have minutes, Pam,
No.
from July?
Nope.
Okay. So we have no minutes to approve.
Nope.
Do we have any correspondence?
Did you not? No. And I'm thinking if there's any updates to provide you with.
Okay. So therefore, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Hang on to your packets
Yeah,
for this.
well,
I have the original as well.